Today, I want to discuss another mistake I see property investors make, and that's relying on simple maths to make very large financial decisions. Someone will take the monthly rent, multiply it by 12, compare it to the purchase price, convince themselves that they understand the deal. But property analysis is a lot more nuanced than that. And honestly, this is exactly why I eventually built my own property analysis spreadsheet and calculator system. Because I realized most investors were either overcomplicating analysis with huge spreadsheets that they barely understood, or massively undersimplified deals and missed important things completely. What I wanted was something practical, something that quickly showed me what the property realistically produces, where the weaknesses are, and whether the numbers actually hold up under pressure. Because ultimately, the spreadsheet itself isn't the important part, the thinking behind it is. So let me show you a very simple example. Let's say we have a property purchase at £250,000. The property rents for £1,100 per month. Now, on the surface, some investors would stop there and say, fine, yeah, perfect, that deal works. But this is where proper analysis starts. First, we annualise the rent. That gives us 1,100 times 12 equals 13,200 per year. Now, let's say the mortgage costs are around 750 per month. That's 9,000 per year immediately gone. Then we factor in maintenance, voids, insurance, management, compliance costs, contingency buffers, and suddenly that deal looks very different. Because what looked profitable at first glance can become very average once realistic ownership costs are included. And honestly, this is where many investors get caught out. Not because they can't calculate numbers, but because they don't know what the numbers should actually be paying attention to. One thing I've learned over time is that strong property analysis is usually less about complexity and more about clarity. You don't need 50 tab spreadsheets and complicated formulas, but you do need a process that consistently highlights weak margins, unrealistic assumptions, operational pressure, and downside risk. That's really what the core toolkit, spreadsheet, and calculator were designed to do. Not make deals look exciting, but make the reality clearer. For example, one thing I always pay attention to now is margin resilience. How much breathing room does the deal actually have once pressure is applied? Because if small changes completely wipe out the cash flow, the investment is probably too fragile. And I think many investors unintentionally analyse deals optimistically rather than realistically. The spreadsheet helps remove some of that emotion. It creates structure, it forces consistency, and honestly, consistency is one of the biggest advantages serious investors develop over time. Because good investing usually comes from repeating good decision-making processes over and over again, not chasing excitement. And this is another reason I still print parts of the toolkit out physically. I like being able to sit down, go through the numbers properly, make notes, highlight concerns, and slow the thinking process down slightly. Because the more money involved, the more important clarity becomes. If you want the full spreadsheet, calculator, templates, and analysis framework I personally use when reviewing deals, they're all inside the core toolkit. And honestly, if you improve the quality of your analysis process, your investing decisions usually improve with it very quickly.